Hey friends, we are here for a very special episode of the Balance It Method podcast. I am here in person for a video episode to be able to show you some visuals of how the Balance It Method systems that we've been talking about all week will support you. If you are a mom that does not want this school year to feel like you're running around with a chicken, like a chicken with your head cut off, then you're in the right place. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the Balance It Method podcast. If you're a working mom juggling a career, kids, housework, a social life, and endless piles of laundry, then you are in the right place, my friend. I'm Tamara, a mom, business owner, and your balanced living bestie. Each week, we will discuss simple, practical ways to better manage your time and energy so you can get things checked off that to-do list without burning yourself out in the process. If you're ready to take off that busy badge of honor and finally take control over life's chaos, then let's take this journey together as we learn how to balance it. Hey friends, I am down here in the corner and welcome to the workshop. So if you've been following along with this back to school prep series on the podcast, you'll know that we're on day 4. But if you haven't, then go back and listen to the last 3 episodes because they are really going to support you if you are a busy working mom who really wants this school year to feel more organized and less chaotic. And so today is a really special episode because we are here in a video episode for the first time ever. So I thought this was really important because I wanted to be able to show you some visuals of how the systems that I talk about all the time on this podcast can really support you. So you can actually see it happening. And if you are a busy mom who is tired of feeling like each day is a race with absolutely no finish line, and you are drowning in piles of dishes and piles of laundry and way too many to-dos on that to-do list, and you're going to bed each night knowing that you were busy all day, that you tried your best all day, but you're not able to point to anything that actually got done, or worse yet, you're going to bed at night feeling super guilty because you are physically and emotionally drained and you felt like you weren't able to be there to play with your kids, to support them in the ways that you know that they need to be, and you haven't had time to actually stop and catch your breath and take care of yourself. And if you've ever tried certain routines or productivity hacks that lasted maybe a couple days and then completely fell apart because somebody got sick or the schedule didn't go perfectly as planned, then you are in the right place. Because let me tell you this, my friends, you are not unmotivated. You are not too lazy. You are not too busy to get organized. Today, I'm going to prove to you that none of that is true. You have just never been taught how to manage work and home life with those little kids in a way that makes sense, that puts your priorities in focus instead of your to-do list. So quick, before we get into this, because everybody gets tripped up when I talk about balance. So people hear me talk about balance and they picture some even split, equal hours for work, equal hours for your kids, equal hours for yourself. And that's not a thing. That's not what we're talking about when it comes to balance. Balance isn't equal. It's intentional. Okay, that's really important. It's knowing which parts of your life get the bigger slice at what time. When you don't have this figured out, the loudest thing is always going to win your attention, right? The dishes in the sink, the dog needing to be taken for a walk, the kid wanting a snack. Those are going to be louder than what actually is the priority and what needs to be done. There are endless things that are competing for your attention. Endless things that you could be doing. And when you don't know how to divide your time in the correct proportions, then that is when you start to deplete yourself. But when you start to learn what we're going to go through today in the frameworks of the Balance It Method, you will see how you can actually experience a balanced life. And I'm going to show you that today. So for those of you who are new here, hi. I'm Tamara. I'm a mom and I run a residential cleaning business. And a few years ago, the pressures of motherhood, we all know what those are, and the pressures of, going to work and being successful basically ate me alive. I tried all the planners. I tried all the life hacks. I tried waking up earlier. None of it stuck. None of it stuck because none of it was actually built around the life that I was living, right? wasn't built around my family and my life and the way things operate. So what does someone do when everything that is available to them has failed them? Well, if you're me, you just build your own thing. And that eventually became the Balance It method. So the podcast, the planners, and the whole thing. So honestly, the part that I'm the most proud of isn't any of that. It's that I am now, because of these methods, able to show up as the mom that I want to be. The systems that I built have allowed me to build a sustainable balance between work and the rest of my life. And now I have this privilege today to sit here and show you how it can for you as well. So let's talk about what we're going to learn today. In step 1, we're going to be defining your non-negotiable tasks. So before we can simplify your week, you have to see what's actually going on within it and what tasks need to be there and which ones don't, which is more important. Next, we will need to map out your morning and evening rituals. Now, if I lost you right there, come back to me, because ritual sounds like a fancy, complicated thing, but it's really not. I'll show you what they are, why they're important, and how you can create one for yourself in less than 5 minutes. Okay? Next, we're going to, we'll take the information that we've learned so far, and we're going to create an outline of those stationary tasks in your week. And we're going to call this your weekly blueprint. So you're going to walk away with a weekly blueprint of what your week should look like. We will then take everything that we've learned, and I will briefly show you how to map it all out in a weekly plan, because your blueprint is going to be how things would go in an ideal week. And then we're going to take that information and apply it to a weekly plan, because we all know that life is not ideal, especially when we've got unpredictable little ones running around getting sick all the time. So we're going to show you how to take that blueprint and turn it into a weekly plan. And then at the end, I'm going to introduce you to the home management systems and show you how they can help to create more consistency and predictability in your schedule. Okay, so this is the part where everybody gets it wrong when they're making their to-do lists. When they try to plan their day and they sit down and they write a big long list of all the things that they want to get done, they're not putting the tasks that actually already exist in their day in that list, right? So you're not writing on that list, make dinner. You're not writing on that list, pick up the kids. You're not writing on that list, shower, right? Those are things that are already baked into our schedule. And so we just assume we have the time to get those done. And then we make a list of all the extra things that we want to get done. And that's just completely ridiculous, if you ask me. So we're going to write 2 lists here. Now, they're not to-do lists. We are simply writing, getting a picture of what we've got going on here. So I want you to take a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle, write AM and PM on each side of that. And then you're going to go through and list the tasks that need to happen in the morning and in the afternoon, in the evening. Okay, so exactly what should you be writing down here? So we're writing down the tasks that absolutely need to happen, the non-negotiable tasks. And here's how you can define that for yourself. These tasks are daily tasks that need to be done. So not once a week, not once in a while. These are things that happen at the very least 3 times a week. Okay, they are tasks that are meant for only you. Only you can do these tasks. So that's either because you're the only one actually physically capable of doing them, or it means that you're the only one available to do them. So if you have a partner that's already gone to work in the morning, you are the only person available to do them. But if they're home in the afternoon for the evening shift, then there are some tasks that aren't necessarily yours, right? And of course, they are essential tasks, like non-negotiable. They have to be done. These are what we call glass balls. So I read a book called How to Keep House While Drowning. I think the author's name was Casey Davis. I really should write that down because I can never remember on the spot when I talk about it. But she refers to tasks as glass and plastic balls. So glass balls are the ones you can't drop. You can't drop these tasks because if they drop, they'll break and the whole system falls apart. Plastic balls, doesn't matter. You can drop them, they'll bounce away, doesn't matter. But the glass balls are what we're defining in these lists. So these are some non-negotiable tasks that you might identify with. So I've got my AM block sequence and my PM block sequence here. Now I've also addressed the time period that these are happening in. You can do that as well if you'd like. And I'm telling you right now, if this is all you listen to today and you take this part away from this workshop, this will support you. This is where I started. This is everything that we do from here on was built on top of this. Okay, moving on, let's start to talk about our morning and evening rituals and why they are so important. Now, to be clear here, I'm not talking about morning and evening routines. A routine implies that you're going to be getting up and doing things to support your life, right? Like you're going through a sequence of tasks to come to an outcome. Whereas a morning ritual is really centered around your well being. And then the evening ritual is just something you do to set yourself up for that morning ritual. Okay. So a morning ritual, like I said, is a short sequence of tasks that are centered around your well being. It's something that should fill your cup, even if it is just a couple of drops. Because remember, we are not getting up earlier than we already are. Or maybe we are, but it's not like we're not joining the 5 a.m. club where we're getting up, we're working out, and then we're having breakfast, and then we're doing all these things. We're not doing that. We are doing something short and sweet that's going to fill our cup a little bit, give us a couple drops in our cup so that we're not entering the day already depleted and having to serve everybody around us. Okay, so if you don't want to do the work to create your own morning ritual, I made one for you. This can be really supportive. This is where I started. Mine has changed a little bit, and it still changes from time to time, depending on what I feel I need. But this can work, I think, for anyone. So 6 a.m. is when I would wake up. Okay, I get up a little bit later than that now, but 6 a.m., that's when my kid woke up. That's when I got up. Okay, I make some coffee. I set my kid up with an activity. I journal for 8 minutes, and then I check my schedule. Bing, bam, boom. That's it. Right? So that is supportive because you are getting up out of bed. You are not laying around hitting the snooze button. You're journaling for 8 minutes, which is you checking in with yourself, and then you're checking your schedule to see what's going on so that you can feel on top of your game for the day. Now, some people might want to do some stretching or something around the time. Sometimes right now, what I like to do is I get up and I do nothing. I sit there with my coffee and look out the window. And that allows me the space to get my head straight before it's like feet hit the floor, service minded person living in the world. Okay. So now an evening ritual, we're going to go back into talking about that, is something that's going to set you up for a successful morning ritual. So let's have a look at an example that supports the morning ritual we just talked about. So you're going to set up for the morning. You're going to get that coffee maker ready on a timer. You're going to have an activity ready for your kid in case they get up at the same time as you. Maybe they'll actually sleep a little bit longer. Wouldn't that be nice? But usually that's not how it goes. You're going to set your journal or your book or whatever you're going to need in the morning right where you're going to need it. Next, you're going to do your regular bedtime routine, whatever that is, your skincare, whatever. And then you need to go to bed. You need to go to sleep on time. This is really, really important. Once you know what time you'd like to wake up and how much sleep you would like to get, you can determine what your bedtime needs to be, and then you need to protect it. Do whatever you need to do to ensure that you're able to honor your need for sleep. We all know how it feels when we have to run our lives, but we've stayed up too late doom scrolling, right? Not good. Okay, moving on. Let's look at our outline of our schedule. We're going to build our weekly blueprint here. So again, your weekly blueprint is an outline of your work schedule, your non-negotiable tasks, and all stationary tasks or routines that you have in your week. When you're building your blueprint, you'll use a spreadsheet style. So you can also do this in your Google Calendar if you want. But if you're building one, you'll need timestamps down one side and then the days of the week across the top, however you like to organize your week. I like Monday through Sunday, but then my planner is often Sunday through Saturday. And so sometimes it gets mixed up. So you have to decide what works best for you here. Then we're going to add our work schedule in. This is usually a very fixed schedule, right? If you work outside of the home, you probably have to be there at a certain time and you probably have to work until a certain time. That's usually how it goes. So you'll block off when you start work and then when you finish. So the example I'm showing you here is a 9 to 5 job. Next, you're going to add in those non-negotiable time blocks. So going back to the first lesson where we defined our non-negotiable tasks and we determined how much time we need to get those done, we're going to block off that time. So that is when we're going to be getting those done. You're adding these in where they will usually happen in a regular week. Okay, so we're not trying to jump ahead and think about things that might be happening that throw those off. We're going to just put them where they should be in an ideal, steady, neutral week. Okay. Side note, this might be where people realize they don't have enough time to get everything done, right? If your PM non-negotiable block is going too late into the evening, you got to go back and edit that baby down. I'm telling you right now, there are probably tasks on that list that are not glass balls. They are not glass balls. You can drop them. Okay. And this is where you're going to do that. Now, we're going to get into where those plastic balls belong. But for now, I want you to go back to that list and edit it down to make sure that it only includes the essential tasks. Next, we're going to add in those ritual blocks. Okay, so your morning ritual, what time is it starting? And then it will run right into your AM non-negotiable block. Your evening ritual, there might be a little gap in there. If you edited down your non-negotiable list and now you got a little gap in there, awesome. That's amazing. Although, don't worry, it will probably get filled up with other things. But most of the time, our PM non-negotiable tasks will run right into our evening ritual, and that's okay too. Now, this can be your finished weekly blueprint. If you have any other stationary tasks or routines that are not time flexible and you have them on a regular basis, you can put them in here. We are not putting things in here that are optional or flexible, okay? That will come in the weekly plan. But for here, we are putting in stationary, predictable tasks. So here's an example of someone who works different hours and how their non-negotiable and evening rituals need to fluctuate a little bit to support their work schedule. Now, if you are somebody that works different shift work, I would suggest having a weekly blueprint for each shift. So you can have one full week of day shifts, one full week of night shifts, and then you'll be able to understand how those blocks will work for each of those shifts. If you are a stay-at-home parent or just don't have work hours in your schedule, you can block off that time as productivity hours. These are when you're running errands, doing homeschooling, etc. You may also be responsible for midday non-negotiables like lunchtime and nap time if you're home with the kids, in which case you'll need to block those items off as well. So this is your weekly blueprint, friends. Now let's get into how we're going to use it. Let's talk about weekly planning and having a weekly planning session. So we're going to sit down once a week, pull out your planner, pull out your blueprint, and follow this sequence of steps. First step, you're going to block in your work schedule. Whatever is happening this week that's coming up, you're blocking off that. So that might differ from your blueprint if you don't work regular work hours. Next step, if you have any fixed appointments in this week, you're going to put those into your planner. So this could be doctor's appointments, this could be birthday parties, this could be anything that's time sensitive that you have to be somewhere at a certain time. So for this example, we're using a doctor's appointment at 9 a.m. Now you need to add in your non-negotiable blocks. You can see in the example with the doctor's appointment, the non-negotiable block had to move up slightly on that particular day, right? Not only that, but we adjusted our non-negotiable PM block the day before to make sure that we got to bed on time, right? So now we're going to add in our ritual blocks. Okay, so let's look at this doctor's appointment schedule. The day before the doctor's appointment, we're going to bed a little earlier so that we can get up a little earlier, so that we can get those non-negotiables done before the doctor's appointment. Okay, and then that might push our evening a little bit later that day, but then we'll just plan for that as we see fit. Now, at this point, you might be wondering, Tamara, what about all the other stuff? Like the things that weren't non-negotiables that we took off that list, like the laundry and the grocery shopping. You promised there would be time for that. Well, those things are what go into what I call core needs systems. Core needs systems are repeatable processes that address important tasks, but also key areas that balance us out as a whole human being. They speak directly to our priorities and what truly make our days fulfilling rather than just full. This isn't just a theory, my friends. This is what changed my life. Okay. Women using this exact process of managing their homes and therefore balancing their lives have told me that they're finally able to show up intentionally for the stuff that matters instead of falling behind all the time. They're able to do the important stuff and show up to be present with their kids, and that their anxiety levels about what's going to fall through the cracks has basically disappeared because nothing has to live in their heads anymore. It lives in a flexible, supportive plan. This is exactly what I teach inside of the Balance It Method Home Management Systems course. This is the course that I designed to be able to support you busy working moms out there, because I can't help you one-on-one. So I built a course that you can go through the frameworks and learn how to master them so that you can also feel like you're in control and have less chaos in your days. So this is what is inside the course. Let me give you a little run through of what you're going to learn. So we're going to learn how to properly define your priorities and the areas of your day that you feel are the most difficult, where you need the most support. And this changes over time, which is why I built it in a course that you can come back to time and time again. It's yours for life. So anytime you're feeling like things are getting chaotic, because, things change. As those kiddos grow up, we know that the systems and the schedules that once worked no longer work. And so we have to start over. And this is a framework that you can come back to. So we're going to define those priorities for the season of life that you're in right now. Then you're going to clearly define what those core needs systems need to be and learn how to create the repeatable processes for them. Then you're going to take those blocks that we mapped out here today and you're going to go even further with your custom blueprint and create something that's going to take you into your weekly planning session. We are then going to learn how to create a doable to-do list that I promise you will be so much shorter than what you're writing now. Like 50%, if not more, shorter than what you're currently writing, because what we've been writing on our to-do lists belong in core needs systems, my friends. That's where they belong, not on the to-do list. Okay. So finally, in this course, you will learn how to have a comprehensive weekly planning session where you take all of the pieces of the framework and you put them together to design a supportive and manageable week. But that is not all you'll get inside of this program. You also get a bonus module where I walk you through my personal cleaning system with a workbook so that you can create your own manageable cleaning system for your home. Because if you remember, back in episode 3, we talked about the 4 keys to balance, which is a core needs system in my home, where one of those 4 keys is a clean for 15. So I'm going to walk you through exactly how I'm able to manage the cleanliness of my home on top of all the other things I've got going on. I got the kid, I got the 4 cats, I've got the volunteer schedule, I've got like 16 side hustles. I've got a lot going on over here. People look at my life and they're like, you only got 1 kid, that's why you're organized. No, it's because I have all these systems in place that keep me above water because I was sick and tired of feeling like I was drowning. So One of those systems is my cleaning system, and you're going to get that in this course as well. Along with all of that, you'll also get a workbook to help you through the course. You'll also receive a few bonus guides, one of which is my Overwhelmed to Organize guide. Now, if you are just starting out with this course and you're already feeling like you're drowning underwater, that is the manual you need to start with, my friend. Get that baby open and get yourself up and out of that water, and then you will have the capacity to continue on with the rest of the program. Okay, we also have a kids chore guide, a kids chore planner actually, and it is an editable digital product that you can go in and decide what chores your kids are going to be able to take off your plate. Now, it's based completely around neuroscience. So I've done a lot of research on this and what chores kids are capable of doing. And it doesn't always mean at a certain age that they're capable of doing things. Maybe physically they are, but maybe mentally they are not strong in a certain area. And so this will help you to determine what chores your kid can be taking on based on their strengths. It also includes a self-care planner, which will help you to understand which type of self-care you need in the season that you're in. And you can use this time and time again as you go through different seasons of your life. And finally, we have two more things. There is also a ChatGPT prompt guide that will show you different ways that you can use chat to help you think through things and make decisions for you so that can be taken off your plate. You can use it as an assistant in your home, basically. I'm going to show you a few ways that you can do that. And then as the final bonus of this, you will get my annual planning workshop. So this is a workshop that I host live every year for those who have purchased one of the Balance It Method planners. They come to this annual planning session, and it teaches them the process of planning big picture stuff, right? Going through your year, deciding when your vacation time will be, getting all of the projects mapped out, everything that you have coming up, big picture style in your year to come. And so that is something that I update within this course every year. You get access to it as the owner of this program, whether you purchase a planner or not. So all you need to do to get access to all of that is to go to the descriptions and click the link. And you can just learn more. You can just click on there. You can go on. There's a couple of the lessons that you're able to actually see how it works. You're actually able to go through the lesson and see exactly how this is going to look for you. But if you are looking and you have more questions, you can always reach out to me via Instagram or email. And I promise I'll get back to you as quickly as I can. I'm just one woman over here, so I will respond as I can. So there are a couple questions that come up quite frequently, so I wanted to just go ahead and answer them here. What if I don't have time to keep up with the program? Well, you have lifetime access, my friend. So it's not just you do one lesson and then you can go off and live the rest of your life. You can come back to it whenever you need to. Also, once you learn the framework of this, you'll learn how to find the time to be able to do things like this, right? So that's the conundrum with this. You got to learn how to find the time to be able to have the time to do the thing. So that's what I'm going to teach you inside this course. So what if you have a question? You can ask me. Yeah, you can send me an email. It'll be me. It's only me. I don't have a team of people waiting to respond to you. I am just one woman show over here. And the reason I have time to be able to answer you is because I've scheduled it in. I have put it in my calendar to reply to emails as they come through. Now, it won't be immediate. There will be days, there will be some time delay in between you sending the email and me replying, but yeah, you can ask me anything. And if I feel as though leaving a voice note for you will be more supportive, then I will do that as well. And that can happen anytime throughout the program. Okay, and so if you are somebody who has tried planning before, but nothing lasted, nothing stuck, Why is this going to be different, you might ask? Because this isn't a copy and paste solution. This isn't something that you found on Pinterest. This is something you're building. This is something you're taking my framework and you're adapting it to your own life. And the steps in this program show you how to be able to do that. And that means as your life shifts, like we talked about, as those kids grow and the systems that once worked are no longer working, cracks are starting to happen in the schedule, that's when you come back to the program. You go through the system again. You go through the frameworks again. And once you know it, once you've mastered it, you don't have to actually log into the program. You just go back through the steps in your brain, right? Like even now with my weekly blueprint, I don't even need it. I know what my week should look like. I know what times everything is happening at. And when I sit down to do my weekly planning session, I know the time I need within those time blocks. But if something shifts where my time blocks are not supporting, they're running into one another, things are going crazy, I need to go back and I need to think, okay, what is actually happening in those non-negotiable blocks and why are they running in? Why am I going to bed so late? Why am I, not able to get everything that I once was done? I need to go back through the framework and figure out where the cracks are happening. And that is what this system, this program teaches you how to do. So now that you know everything that you know from this episode today, I have a question for you. How do you want to show up for the important people in the areas of your life? Do you want them to get the crumbs of what's left over after a long, busy day? Or do you want them to be able to show up for them as the best version of yourself? And you want to show up for yourself as the best version of you so that you can feel balanced and supported and enjoy your actual fulfilling life rather than just a full one, right? So if that sounds like you and you want to sign up, again, you'll just click the link in the descriptions, put in your payment details, and then check your email for the link access. Thank you again, my friends, for being here. If I see you inside the program, I'll see you there. And if I don't, I'll see you back here next week, guys.